Sex and Violence with Rebel Girl is presented by UFC Fight Pass. See the best that UFC Fight Pass has to offer on the Fight Pass 24/7 stream, offering a constant channel of historic fight action all day, all night. Tune in, sit back, and enjoy a network created by fans for fans. Step into our world. UFCFightPass.com.
Sex and violence. Sex and violence. Sex and violence. Sex and violence.
Hey guys, welcome back to Sex and Violence with Rebel Girl, presented by UFC Fight Pass, the show that interviews top-level MMA fighters and other experts in their fields about love, dating, romance, and that all-too-taboo subject, sex. I'm your host, Ashley Rebel Girl Evan Smith. Now let's talk about sex and violence.
What's happening, hot stuff?
What is up, my naughty listeners? We are back in the studio. I apologize for not having an episode out last week. So it's been about 2 weeks since you heard my voice. And what shit happens, it's free content. So I guess you guys can't complain, but I do try to be consistent. I missed you guys. I'm very happy to be back in studio. And the last 2 weeks have been busy, very busy in a good way. I got a couple fun things I want to tell you about. I was on the Steph Tolov podcast. It's called The Steph Infection, like staph infection, which I think is hilarious because I'm a wrestler. And it was really fun. She basically talks about what kind of issues our bodies have. So like a staph infection, whatever it is. For me, you'll have to tune in. But we all have weird things that go on with our body. And I just love that it's like a different kind of podcast. Obviously, we talk about other things, not just weird body stuff. But she was a guest on the show. If you haven't heard her, if you haven't heard every single one of these podcasts, go back and listen. I think it was like 5 or 6 episodes ago. But super funny comedian. She's killing it right now in the not just the LA scene, but all over. She's on Netflix. She's with Bill Burr. Check her out. I was also on the Jason Ellis podcast. I think it's just called the Jason Ellis podcast, and super happy to be on his show because he's a friend and a guest of Sex and Violence, a 2-time guest. And so that was really fun. We talk about even weirder shit than what we talked about on the Steph Tolov podcast. So those both are coming out in the future. I'll try to send a link on the podcast Instagram and on my social media and all of that if you guys want to check it out. And I've got big stuff coming up. I want to remind you guys that January 21st is SOS 9, Submission Only Series. I commentate that and host that with my friend Zeta Zhang, pro wrestler. It's called the Pro Team Duels. So instead of an individual grappling tournament for the high-level grapplers that are usually there, it's a 3-man team. And so that's going to be kind of fun. That's going to be also at Rose Wolf Studios one more time. It was previously there a few months back. $3,000 to the team that wins, and also a women's super fight, either bantamweight or featherweight. They're looking for black belts. So if you're listening to this and you know a female black belt and you're like, hey, I know Sheila, she really wants a match, she can win some money, hit up at Submission Only Series. And that is January 21st. They're looking for a super fight, or I think the teams might already be matched up. But if you want to be a team as well, check them out at submissiononlyseries.com or again at Submission Only Series. And then the following week, January 28th, it's very exciting. The Up Next Fighting Show. If you don't know what that is, check it out. It's a new local fight promotion that I work for, and I'm very happy to be a part of their family. They are putting on shows at the Commerce Casino, and I think the next one might be at the Hollywood Exchange, but don't quote me on that. I'm not positive. But check them out at upnextfighting.com. And the next event, Up Next 4, It's going to be a really special show. It's like a collab show with Danny Trejo, who's basically putting on a public service announcement. It's like a charity type event. It's called Bad Meds Kill Real People. And what it is just trying to bring awareness to the fact that the online pharmaceutical industry is not regulated. So you have people buying these meds online and just dying, and it's horrible. And you can do something. It's basically simple. It's just go to safe.pharmacy.com and check your meds, and it could be saving lives. So I'm excited to be a part of Up Next Fighting, but also excited because this fight organization is collabing with a serious and very important issue. And I think it's just cool that we can bring awareness and kind of come together as a mixed martial arts community and help other people. And I'm happy to be a part of that kind of an organization. So check them out. Again, if you want to buy tickets, I don't think they're on sale yet, but they will be coming out very soon. upnextfighting.com. And it will be in Southern California. Not sure if it's going to be at the Commerce Casino or the Hollywood Exchange. But yeah, check them out, guys. That's really about it. We have an amazing guest today, and the same bullshit that I remind you guys every week, I still want you to check it out. Pretty please, if you can support me on my exclusive content site, it's ashleyrebelgirl.com. That's all the naughty stuff, like the pictures that are too sexy for Instagram and the videos that you're like, is this girl a UFC fighter or a porn star? What is she doing? But you know what? It's paying the bills right now. So I'm very excited. And I think it's definitely time to start talking about the fact that I will be fighting in 2023, guys. My journey has been long, and if you've been with me on this journey since the beginning, fucking thank you. Thank you so much. You know, I don't want to talk about it because I'll actually get all emotional, but I'm finally at the end of the tunnel, you know. It's really going to happen, and I'm just happy that I'm still signed with the UFC, and I'm still physically able, got a healthy body, and I have all my ducks lined up. So stay tuned, guys. I'll be headed to Colombia to get some stem cells at BioAccelerator, and I just can't be happier because it's basically setting me up for the best fight camp that I'll have ever. And excited to make my comeback in 2023. Until then, please support the show by going to our website, sexviolencewithrebelgirl.com. You can buy some t-shirts, hat, merch, doesn't matter. It all helps out. And if you have any guest suggestions, or you want to sponsor the show and also help out that way, that is sexandviolencepodcast@gmail.com. And I've been doing a very small push for an intern. So if you're listening to this show and you have marketing background, or you just think that you have something to offer, I don't need a resume. I just need an email. So sexandviolencepodcast@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. Just tell me how you think you could help out the show, and maybe some, accolades, some stuff you've done in the past. That would be awesome. All right, guys, let's talk to our amazing guest. Today's guest is an internationally recognized supermodel, rising MMA personality, and co-host of the Realize Recognize podcast with Dustin Gutkowski and top UFC fighter Kevin Holland. She also covers fight events with live post-fight interviews, analyst breakdowns, and is a leading representative for African American women commentating in the sport of mixed martial arts. We talk about hiding MMA training while modeling, being taken by yourself, having traditional values, anti-online dating, dick pics, return to sender, Rick Fox interaction, natural chemistry over looks, dating career adjacent, characteristics of male models, bougie outside, down-to-earth inside, a funny guy with a brain, breaking and entering over love, benefits of dating older men, and much more. Here is your guest, Adaire Byerly. We are here with Adaire Byerly. I'm very excited to have her on the show. first supermodel for sure. So very excited about that. And supermodel turned into analyst, commentator, podcast host, and probably a plethora of other things. I'm super excited to have her on the show. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
I'm good. I'm doing really good. We had a little technical issue there, but I'm just so grateful to have a guest. I'm a little salty from last week. I had somebody ghost me, basically, just get my hopes up. I'm just like waiting with my headphones on, like, come on. So
Wait, you were actually you were ready to go.
we're ready to go. Yeah. And so it's just like, I feel like, I'm in a relationship, but I'm like, I haven't been ghosted in a long time, but I feel like I just got podcast ghosted. So I'm like, damn it.
Oh my goodness.
No, it's all good. I'm like joking, and it's like easy come, easy go, And then having you on the show is super exciting because you do a lot of things that I'm passionate about. Obviously, mixed martial arts, but as I'm in like the later part of my personal career, I'm getting into commentating and cage side reporting, and you're killing it. So let's talk about that.
So cool. Oh yeah, so it's interesting. It's really within the last year. I decided that I wanted to go over into sports media. And it was weird because I was like, man, how am I going to do this shift? Right? Like I'm coming from fashion and entertainment. No one's going to take me seriously. I already know this off rip, but also a lot of people didn't know that I had a background in mixed martial arts. I kept that a secret when I was a model because when I was modeling, if clients know, right, that you're training in a gym, then you are you're basically a liability for them, right? So they don't want to choose me for a job if there's a possibility that I'm going to show up with a bruise or a scratch somewhere.
Of course.
So I hid that for a long time. People didn't even know that I trained. People had no idea. They just knew I liked fights, right? But I was much more than a fan. I was hands-on. So I was like, man, I think I could do this because I come from show business. You know what I mean? I'm used to being in front of the camera. I'm used to working in fast-paced environments, high intensity, male-dominated industries. So I was like, I might as well just take everything that I know, including studying brain and behavioral science, and just put it all in one area. And so now I'm here.
So to be clear, you were modeling and doing mixed martial arts training, and then the last year you've gotten into mixed martial arts, sports media. When did you stop modeling? Are you still modeling right now?
I still model. It's just not it's not at the top of my list of importance. So
okay.
I'm not a full-time model anymore. I don't make myself available for castings like I used to, but
that's awesome. I am reminded of my former teammate, Alan Joban, who you're probably familiar with in mixed martial arts. He was also a model. Maybe he still is.
I can see that.
Yeah. He's a good looking man. That's a good looking man. I've said it on here. I'm like, stop. Don't train next to me. Get away. He's too close. He's good looking. And he used to be, I always mess it up, but like, Armani, or I don't know, but maybe it's Versace or something like that. But I remember there was a story he had a black eye, and they had to like put the makeup on it and cover it up before a shoot. And so I understand, if you have to keep that from people just so they don't want to hire you in case you're a liability, like you said. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So now that you are shifting over into sports entertainment, not just modeling and training, how's it going? I know you have your podcast, which is amazing. I definitely want to ask you about that, how podcasting is going, since that is something I'm obviously into as well.
Yeah, so the podcast was a great surprise for me. I I wasn't planning to be doing that. Like I said, it's like everything. When I stepped into this, things just started to unfold very, very quickly. I got there a lot faster than I thought I did. But I'm also realizing that this industry, the fight industry, is a lot smaller than entertainment in the fashion world. So I was able to cover more ground, over on this side of things than I was when it took me 10 years plus to do all the other things over there. But yeah, so the podcast I'm doing is the Realize Recognize. I'm the co-host with Kevin Holland and the huge UFC personality. and Dustin Gutkowski, and those guys are great. They're wonderful. It is so much fun working with them. I love them. They're very respectful of me. They take care of me. They respect me. It's a great dynamic with all of us. You know, I'm kind of like the woman of the team, so I help keep them organized and know, kind of bring stuff back to this way when it goes too far on the bro side.
Yeah, you're the feminine balance for sure.
I am, yeah.
So do you guys have like a general format, or is it just open form? Do you guys talk about just fight specific items, or what's kind of the gist of the show?
No, so Realize Recognize was created to really recognize people, real talent, real stories. It doesn't just have to be in the fight world, but we do talk about fight stuff. We've had a lot of fight guests that are on. We like people in the fight world, but really if we find somebody that has a good story or somebody that's just a real ass person, we like to have them on. So we have some pretty cool conversations. We have a lot of fun on that show. I'm sure you've seen some of the clips. It's of us laughing. But the format is like, it honestly was very organic for all of us. Like the first day I came in, they were looking for a co-host. Kevin wanted me on the show and I said, okay. So I show up, and the first day we filmed, I didn't know what the hell was going on. We literally just like, we wing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it turned out to be great. So over this first season, we just learned each other, and I know their personality more. They know my personality. They see how I work. I see how they work. The conversation wise, how it flows. So we kind of have a good understanding. I think we bounce off of each other very well.
And you're also doing commentating and analyst work right now as well?
Yes. So when I first started, I was just doing like pre-fight interviews and post-fight interviews. I had told a ring announcer, actually, I'll go ahead and give him a shout out, Antonio Perkins. I told him a while back that I wanted to commentate. And so one night I was at an organization that he was a ring announcer for. And I'm just taking notes because, I'm on the side making sure that I know how to recap the night when the fights are over with. And he looks at me and he's like, "You want to get on?" I was not prepared. I wanted to say no. I almost said no. And then I said, man, I can't say no, because if I say no, then I just contradict, all the stuff I've been saying I want to do. I have an opportunity to do it. I've been thrown in things before. I might as well go for it. So I said yes, and hopped on. I called my first fight. I did some commentating. I got wonderful feedback. And then I heard myself and I was like, dang, I actually sound like a professional. So it was exciting. And then after that, I was like, I got to do this, because I'm a very analytical person. So I like to break things down. I'm also an educator. So I love to teach people, when I'm speaking about things. I've learned that a lot of people that watch fights don't entirely understand what they're looking at unless they've been involved in the sport, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not something very easy to understand. It's not like even boxing. People that watch boxing don't even really understand boxing as boxing fans, but it's easier to focus on because you have just, you have your hands, right? You've got footwork and you got your hands, and you're only landing with your hands. But in MMA, you're talking about various forms of background of arts, You have to be able to understand each of those. You have to be able to know the background of the fighters that you're commentating on, right? And then it's cool to know their personality too, and kind of the reason why they're doing what they're doing. It really gets people emotionally invested in the fight while they're watching it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, exactly what you just said. There's so many different aspects to mixed martial arts. As a fighter, we have to train every discipline. That in itself is exhausting. Wrestling in the morning, boxing at night, strength and conditioning, runs in between, exhausting. And then you have to do the same exact thing where you need to be educated in every single one. And it's just even keeping up with like the MMA news. Sometimes I get overwhelmed. I'm like, how do I know what's going on with this sport and boxing? And now you got celebrity Logan Paul fighting who knows, and I'm like, I just can't fucking keep up. Like, it's just too much, And then it's like, Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was saying, like, when I first started like getting into it, I would read, different articles and stuff. And then this is what got me. I started doing journalism work. I did journalism work with Fansided.
Okay.
I was actually hired by Fansided to cover Dana White Contender Series.
Okay.
So I would have to watch the series, while it's happening, and then topics would come up, and then we would just have to pick them, as they come in, and then write about them and turn them in within a certain time frame. And that's when I realized, like, there's a lot of people that write these articles that don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, there is.
Because people read this shit.
Yeah.
You know
And
what
they
I'm
take
saying?
it to heart.
And they take it to heart. And it's not everybody. There's good journalists out there, right? So I'm not
Shout
gonna
out
say
to
that.
Amy Kaplan, who used to work for Fansided as well.
Oh, she still does. That's who I worked with.
Okay, perfect. Shout out
She
to
was
our girl
great.
Amy.
That girl kept me on my toes.
Yeah.
She was like, I mean, seriously, I loved her because she's so blunt. She's blunt, she's straight to it.
Yep, she's a great
I'm
MMA
used to that.
journalist.
Oh yeah. So she would tell us, like, this person, like, so, but I got to see, like, even, and she would help me a lot on formatting stuff, because I was clueless when it came to how to write stuff down. But yeah, I would see, like, man, there's people that are writing about this that have never done it, never been to the gym.
Oh yeah.
So
you can tell, not in the
interesting.
way that they, because everybody can talk technically, you know what I mean? But I feel like sometimes you can read an article, and just by the vibe, the way someone's wording something, I'm like, this motherfucker's never thrown a punch. He's never done a double. Get the fuck out of here,
Yeah, it's the same thing with those, with the pre-fight, conferences they have.
Oh yeah, press conferences. Yeah.
Fight, asking those questions, and I'm like, some of the questions I've heard, like, in person, even at other fight organizations, I'm like, what? What are you talking to each other? Come on, man.
Imagine being a hungry fighter who has to hear the same dumbass question over and over. And actually, I was just talking to somebody, baseball players, they have to do like 500 times the amount of media that fighters do, because they have to do a media, like, that, Zol? Like,
there's walking into the stadium. Then there's getting dressed.
Yeah.
I know everything baseball.
Okay. There's a lot of media in baseball.
You do it again with the same people. You go to the field. And then you gotta fucking practice, and then you do it with those
same people over and over. And I was like,
only halfway through your media right there.
Yeah, I can't imagine. So I feel like you understand, you've actually trained, and that's what makes you so unique and special, and it's like, sorry to bring this up, I'm sure half of you is probably tired of hearing this, but like, yeah, you're so beautiful that people probably expect that, like, this chick doesn't know what she's talking about, but you have trained.
It works in my favor every time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some perks.
No, I just mean, like, as far as people underestimating me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I always exceed the expectation.
Yeah,
of course.
They're like, oh, what did she got to say? And they're like, oh shit, she's got something to say.
It's such a rewarding feeling. I know it is, because just women in general, even though there's women's mixed martial arts and it's, a huge growing sport, I definitely feel like females are underestimated. And then you find a woman and she's trained and she knows how to speak about the sport. Oh, we lost her.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there she is. We're
My
back.
screen's so dark. How did that happen? I'm sorry.
That's all right. We're all good. Yeah. So I'm very happy to hear that you started writing for Fansided. Where did you go after Fansided?
Let's see. Right after Fansided, actually, it wasn't even too long after that when I started doing the podcast.
You said it's only been a year, but you're really making a good name for yourself early on. You're hitting the social media hard. You're collaborating with the right people. You got the algorithm down, and I see your stock rising. So I'm excited for you. Are you currently in contract with anybody for commentate? Okay, well, guys, anyone listening? Listen up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of different organizations that keep talking about doing it, and they have people in their ear telling them you need to get her now because Someone's gonna pick her up.
Hit my girl up. Hit her up. So we're going to transfer a little bit. You know, we know that you are a badass professional. You know what you're talking about. You've been training this sport. You're not just a pretty face. And now it's sex and violence. So I got to ask you, are you seeing anybody? Are you single? Are you taken? And also, how do you identify sexually? We like to be very PC here.
Oh, okay. So I like to say I'm taken by myself right now.
Okay.
Officially, technically, I am single, but I am not available. This is about me, myself, and I. I'm taking care of myself. I am dating myself. I'm reevaluating a lot of things. It's been, honestly, it's been a very rough year for me. So, you know, I'm just taking time for myself, and I'm stepping back, and I'm you know, I'm just learning myself as a woman.
That's such an important thing to do. And I'm always excited to talk to a guest because I have such a very like work mindset. And I feel like the most productive is when I'm single, you know, and I just feel like we can really achieve our goals. I love my man, you know, but I do feel like when you're in love and when you're in a relationship, you give a big part of yourself to the other person, right?
You can.
You know, and you can get greedy when you're single and you can just thrive and you can focus on your career. And I feel like it's a hard balance to find a partner who allows you to just be selfish and focus on your career as well. So I'm excited for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm finding that balance right now. I'm trying to, because I'm a little, I think I would say I have traditional values as a woman. So when I'm in a relationship, I can mold my entire life around that person, especially if I really care about them. So, yeah, when I'm in love, it's all in and it's all that person. And I'm like, I gotta figure this out for me. And to answer your other question, how I identify, I like men. I like the guys.
Okay.
I date men. I've married men. But I think women are beautiful and I'm attracted to women. So, there's that too.
Yeah, everyone's big on labels these days. And the only reason I ask, like I said, is because I'm like, don't cancel me, you know, but it's my little disclaimer. I'm like, I asked, you know, but I try really hard to be PC and to make sure I'm addressing people appropriately in the way that they want to be addressed and whatnot. So
you can call me a she. I'm not going to hate you.
So you're single. Are you... You know, I love asking about whether or not you are into online dating because it's so, you know, such a technological generation. But for me, I'm like, there's nothing like meeting someone in person, like a really cute meet. You're meet cute. What's it called, Soul?
Yeah.
Meet cute. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, no. Online dating, no, I'm not. I'm
never
not open for dating right now. just to be honest and clear. So anybody's watching this, do not send me an unsolicited dick pic. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm going to save it and I'm going to send it to the next guy that sends me an unsolicited dick pic. That's my new rule. Yeah, that's my rule. I said that. Oh, I said I was going to say that on my other podcast, actually, because the fans were going crazy. I started getting some unwanted inboxes. So don't send me any of that shit. I don't want to see it. I'm not interested. But no, I'm not on online dating. That scares me. I've done it, I think, once. It didn't last long. But I will say I have started relationships online. My last relationship was from, well, not really. No, kind of. I met the guy online. I met him through officially online. I heard about him in person, met him online. I've had a couple other boyfriends I met through social media. So I guess, I don't know, is that considered the same?
No, I mean, it's not the same, but it pretty much is. Me and my guy, you know, 3 years plus, and he just slid into my DMs. So I feel like that's kind of like online dating, but we knew each other before that, you know, but yeah, it's just like a mailbox or
he just sent you a letter.
It's so weird because we have access to like whoever we want, you know. It really, you know, people may not look at their entire inbox, but for the most part nowadays, like, anyone has a shot, right? So it's like your dating world opens up, but it's also this weird, like, you're not meeting someone in person, you're just randomly sending them a message. Like, is that okay? Like, how do you prefer to meet people?
I like meeting people in person, and I love like organic interaction, right? So like, let's just say, when I was in the modeling industry and in the entertainment world, I had the pleasure and honor of seeing a lot of beautiful people, right? Till this day, I always tell this story. The most beautiful man that I ever saw was Rick Fox in person. I was just walking.
Do you know who Rick Fox? I don't know who Rick Fox is.
You know Rick Fox is?
From the,
okay.
From the late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
Can you pull up a picture of Rick Fox for her?
He is a good-looking dude.
Can you pull up a picture, Zol, of Rick Fox for me?
I'm going to tell you what I told. I'm a massive Laker fan. Massive Laker. We call him the George Clooney of basketball.
Okay. George Clooney of basketball? Okay, I'm going to need to see this man.
I got to see him in person. I was just walking. It was during All-Star Weekend. And I was just working different events. They hired me as a model to come and work another couple events that weekend. And he's walking down the staircase, and he was so beautiful.
Do you want a new picture or a prime picture?
Oh, it doesn't matter. He still looks good now, even though he's older.
He's a good-looking man.
I've seen that guy before. Okay, yeah.
So, and he's smiling. He looks like a freaking angel. Guy looks like an angel just standing on the staircase. I didn't realize it was him. I was just like, who's this person? Who's this person glowing? You know?
Yeah.
So I got to see a lot of like, you know, good looking people that like where their looks matter. You know what I mean? Now, what's interesting about me is I'm not a materialistic girl. I don't give a shit about looks like that. I don't even care much about my physical appearance. A lot of people think that I do. Now, I have dignity, so I'm not going to let myself go, you know, but as far as natural attraction people, I actually like the chemistry more than the physical appearance. So you can be the sexiest man or the sexiest woman. If I don't vibe with you, it's not going to, you know, I'm not going to get anywhere with you. So I'm big on organic conversation, natural chemistry. I like intellectual conversations. I don't like people interviewing me. I hate being interviewed. Like, don't interview me when I'm, you know, talking to you on a romantic level. Yeah. You know, where you know how people check those little like.
Oh yeah, they're putting you through. Yeah.
Off your head.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And that just adds like a sense of like anxiety to it. Like, what if, you know, because you can tell when someone's trying to find out information, and then you're smart enough to know, like, okay, what if they don't like that information? Like, it should just be organic, right?
Yeah. And then also, I'm like, what makes you think like you're over here interviewing me? You didn't even ask me if I wanted the job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You didn't even think about me. You're just over here checking off the boxes in your head. Like, I'm just gonna, like, I'm available for you.
Exactly.
That's the thing that throws me off. People think I'm actually available for them.
And, you know, it's a male-dominated industry. I ask people this question all the time because, you know, you brought it up earlier. It's such a small industry. It's such a small sport, right? And so, you know, I know you're not looking right now. And maybe let's talk about in the past when you were in the fashion industry. Do you believe in dating in the industry, or do you try to kind of stay, don't shit where you eat, for lack of a better term?
Here's what I say. Just because I understand human behavior, I think it's normal to do it, because we tend to, if we're around people all the time, it makes sense, right? Because we spend a lot of time with people in our industry. That's why, you know, unfortunately, when affairs take place, they tend to happen with someone who's in the industry that the spouse works in, right? That's not uncommon. Or someone who's around the most. So it makes sense. I think it's fine to date on a serious level. I think it's dangerous if you're just plowing through people. Yeah. Right. Like, no, if you're just discovering yourself, right. Or you're just trying to have fun, or you're a fan, or, you know, I don't know, let's just say you got a fresh kick of being single after being married for a long time. I would just say, you know, it's probably not a good idea to, you know, run rampant in an industry that, you know, could possibly tarnish your career or prevent you from working with people in the future. Because now of course, when you sleep with people, that's the most intimate and closest way you can be with another human being. If you do that with multiple people in the same industry, eventually you're going to find somebody you piss off, right? People know people. People want to take people's sides, and shit just gets messy. So I would just say, depending on your intentions,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think it's bad, but it can be dangerous.
Have you, on a personal level, done that in the past? You know, I'm in my 30s now. I know you're in your 30s as well. There's some things I've done in my 20s where I'm like, wow, what the fuck?
Yeah, in my past, I dated one photographer. The other guy that I dated, he was my boyfriend for like 3 years. He was formerly a professional actor, and then he turned into a script writer. He was actually responsible for the show Narcos.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
He wrote the original script for that show. So
kind of like career adjacent partners, not like, you know, modeling.
Yeah, not the same circle. But also on that note, I never dipped into my industry. So
seems like a tempting industry to not dip into.
Right, exactly.
You didn't date no model guys?
And no, I didn't. No model guys. Honestly, I'm not really attracted to model men.
Wow. Who says that?
Yeah. They're fun. Well,
God, you're so good looking. Get away from me.
They're good looking, but a lot of them are annoying.
Ah, okay.
Like, they annoy me because I'm such a laid back. The way I look does not match my personality.
Really?
Like, I'm a laid back girl.
Okay.
I'm super down to earth. I'm kind of a country girl. I'm kind of like a tomboy type, you know, and I don't care about, I look bougie, but I'm not. Like, I will kick back and I will look like when I don't have my makeup on, I always say I look like a 14-year-old or 12-year-old, like chilling on the couch. And
you're the best of both worlds, you know.
I like to do that, so I don't like all that. And there's a lot of men out there, you know, that all the models, at least, that they care way too much about what they look like.
Yeah. And
because they know that they're beautiful or they know that they're sexy, it's like the way that they approach you is almost like entitlement, and I hate that shit.
Yeah. It seems like you just need a man with more substance, right?
Yes. I like the manly men.
All right.
Like men, you know, who will, you know, go outside and chop some wood or something.
And
you know,
you have your degree in behavioral science, correct?
Well, so I don't actually have a degree. What I do have, though, is I have solidified licensing and certifications.
I love that. You still know your shit. You still know it.
Yeah, I still know my shit. I still got it from very credible places. Like one of my understudies or continuing educations I did was actually through a Harvard course. So, you know, I mean, I did the work.
Yeah.
You know, I just didn't get it. I didn't want to go back to school and do all those years of it.
Of course. Yeah. Well, I love it. You're so well-rounded, you know, the modeling, mixed martial arts, you're an intellect as well. So how do you juggle everything that you're currently doing right now? Obviously being single helps.
Honestly, I think I have a good support system. You know, I think I have a good support system. I'm pretty, like I said, I had a rough year, so I've had to kind of sit back and reevaluate my priorities, you know, what I'm doing, so I don't feel guilty for trying to pursue things that I want. I think I've always been a go-getter. Both my parents are successful entrepreneurs, and that literally goes all the way back in my bloodline, goes all the way back to slavery. Like we've been entrepreneurs all the way through down to this generation. So I'm used to working all the time on multiple things. I don't clock out, you know, even if I'm laying in bed and I have an idea, you know, if I think it's something worth bringing to life, I'll do it. I'm a very, how can I say this? I'm one of those people that think like nothing's impossible, right? So when I first started modeling, they told me no, because I wasn't tall enough. They said I needed to be 5'8". I wasn't 5'8". At the time I was like 5'6.5". Now I'm 5'7". I only grew a half inch taller. But, because of that, I actually made history at that agency. I was the first African American model at that agency that was signed and represented by the fashion division. So I made history there.
Wow.
Then in 2013, I had my son in 2012. They told me my career was over because I had a baby. He was a big baby, so he fucked up my stomach. They told me my career was over, and then I ended up in Vogue in 2013.
After your baby.
Yeah, after the baby.
Hell yeah. Oh, I love that.
And, when I started my company, my brain and behavioral science company, I started that for creatives. That was just from working in the industry that I worked in for so many years. So I did a lot of professional development. I still do. I love doing that.
And what is that? What is it exactly?
Entertainment Mind Frame.
What is Entertainment Mind Frame?
My company. I do professional development for creatives. So anybody behind the camera, such a production team, media, even stylists, anybody in the creative world. I've even dipped over into the science side where I'm talking to engineers and stuff. And it's team collaboration, it's team building, it's professional development, and it's all about the science of communication.
Wow.
Verbal, nonverbal. So I started that company, and I didn't get a lot of support in the city I was in. So I reached out to an agent out in Los Angeles, and they believed in me. And 6 months later, my company was the top Black female-owned companies to know in Forbes. So when I set out to do something, right, and other people can't see it, I'm like, I'll just show you, Mm-hmm. So I think I've had a good success record of succeeding in whatever I choose to go after. You can't really tell me no.
Yeah. I love that. So in your opinion, has it been a little harder for you in the combat sports world as a female?
I think, I don't know how to answer that. I just kicked that. I think maybe it is, but I went into that expecting it,
I personally I feel like I've been very fortunate to where I've had a lot of opportunities in front of me because I am a female, with mm-hmm. fighting and with media. And it's a question I ask because you would expect, in a male dominated sport, it might be harder. But I feel lucky sometimes because I do get a lot of opportunities because I am a female. So I don't really feel like I've been discriminated against or, like I'm starting from behind.
No, the only part that I'm finding that's hard is getting at a commentating table. Being on the analyst side as a woman, and a woman who, has a former background as a model. When people hear me talk, they're sold.
Yeah.
But before that, it's like, it's just really hard to find a spot at the table because so many people are very, very territorial over that spot.
Yeah.
Like to the point of bashing your name to make sure you don't get in.
Oh,
kind of
cutthroat.
It's cutthroat.
Damn.
It is. So, and I get it. And you have to earn that spot, but I'm so fine with that. I'm totally fine with that. On the other hand, I will say that this sport, MMA, is the only sport I believe that is equal in regards to men and women. Like it's a sport where men and women actually train together. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool because women aren't, I'm sure there's some people out there that are like, women can't do this, women can't do that. But for the most part, men understand, like, no, a woman can rock me. A woman she can choke me out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and when you feel that and you have that compatibility in a training space, it's like you have a different respect for women, than you do in other sports.
For sure.
So I will say, I think because of the dynamic of the industry, I think it's easier for me here than I think it would be like an NBA or an NFL, So I think because of that, I get a lot more opportunities.
In terms of dating and with your partner, do you feel like your career has ever cause some friction or some problems, meaning, sometimes there's jealousy when like two fighters date, or, a partner who doesn't understand that training with men is not just rolling around on the ground. Some people, if they don't do jujitsu, they think a man and a woman and he's between her legs. Like, they just get weird, right? Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, I've had a couple guys that I've dated that that weren't comfortable.
How do you deal with that?
They just have to get over it, or I have to leave, because I know me as a woman, right? I'm a very strong woman. I'm a very respectable woman. I'm very straight. I'm a flirtatious person and I'm nice, but I know when to stop the line, because I understand taking it too far. I understand leading people on. That's not something I do. I don't lead people on. I don't play around in certain situations. The lines are pretty clear with me. So if I'm with somebody and they're in a relationship with me and they don't understand that about me, that means they don't trust me. Right. And I'm like, well, you're just going to have to exit and then just watch me.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'm going where I'm going, period. Like, regardless, with or without you, I'm going where I'm going. I mean, I told one of my boyfriends before he got in my ass, he was being so mean to me. He was actually a fighter, not like a big time fighter, like a local fighter. And he told me, that he was the best I was ever going to do.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah. And,
okay.
And I said, well, remember that when you're sitting on the couch and you see me on TV. And that was 5 years ago. That was before I even knew that I was going to be going over into sports media in the MMA world, period. So right now, I know that motherfucker sees me on TV. I know he does. I know he's seen it. So stuff like that makes me laugh, because I'm like, I'm serious,
it's
about
weird.
what I'm doing. It doesn't stop me. I will say I respect anybody I'm with, and I'll ask, but I'll do as much as I can to make them comfortable, but I won't sacrifice my calling for the person that I'm with.
Yeah, I love that. I hope a lot of young women heard that right now, because that's a very strong statement from a very successful woman who's making a name for herself in a completely different industry, which is so fucking hard. People don't understand doing something your whole life and then getting into something else. I'm just making a very small analogy. For me, I'm a fighter my whole life. Like, I'm self-deprecating sometimes. I'm like just such a meathead, and then I get injured, and now I'm trying to do all this media stuff, but I'm thrown into it. And you said the same thing. You just have to say yes. You have to take every opportunity in front of you, and you have to make sure that there's no roadblocks. And sometimes those roadblocks are partners, and you got to be strong enough to say, hey, my career is more important than keeping you happy or whatever.
Yeah. And then, sometimes it's okay. Like, it doesn't, sometimes if you guys break up, or, you can take a break and sometimes evaluate, like, if you have a partner that supports you, but you guys just can't figure out what's going on, take a break.
Yeah.
And if that person supports you in that break and you support them in that break, and they allow you to grow, because the thing about relationships that are so funny to me is we choose people based off of where we are, right? But we forget that we grow. We forget that. We forget that we change and we grow, and we get mad at people when they change. And I'm like, you're supposed to change.
Mm-hmm.
Good and bad. You're supposed to, everybody has their roadmap ahead of them, and they have to go through that journey. And your job as a spouse is to see how long you can stay with them on that journey. If there's a part of that journey that you can't be with anymore, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with them and say, okay, we got to go our separate ways. Or, I don't want to go separate right now. Let's just take a break and reevaluate it and see if we can get back on this path together.
Yeah. I love that. And I feel like general mindset about a break is that, oh shit, a break means break up forever. But I guess breaks do work sometimes, right?
They can. I've never been a big break person, but the older I get, the more I believe in them.
Yeah.
The more I believe in them. Because of, like, I used to think a break meant, oh, that just means we can go have sex with whoever the fuck we want. When I was younger, I was like,
oh yeah.
he's gonna go fuck somebody.
Oh yeah.
That was my thought. And then now I get older and I'm like, no, it just means me. It just means me. I just need time to
Time for reflection, time to figure things out, time to feel like, okay, are we growing in the right way, not the wrong way?
Yeah. Yeah, really, you do. You have to reevaluate what you want all the time.
I got to ask you some like prying questions. Can you share with us your worst date story?
The worst.
Yeah, like one where you're like, think back and you're like, I cannot believe that happened. I can't believe this guy did that. Like something that you'll never forget. A bad blind date. Maybe you're catfished. Well, you don't do online dating.
No, I've never been catfished. Yeah, everybody I've ever dated, I've known. Like, and I've known for like at least a couple of years because I'm too scared to. I'm too scared to do the meeting stuff.
Yeah, it's a real roll of the dice these days with filters. You know, you're like, oh shit, you do not look like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've had bad relationships. I've had terrible relationships.
Who has it?
As far as the bad dates, honestly, off the top of my head, I can't really think of a bad date. Every guy I feel like I've gone out with, I like strategically said yes to. I've said no to a ton of people, like even guys that I ended up dating later. I said no to them at the beginning because I was like, eh.
What type of personality do you tend to go for? Like the funny guy, the intellectual? Like, do you have like kind of like not so much aesthetically, but like personality characteristics that you are interested in?
Yeah. So first and foremost, I like funny people. Usually people that are funny tend to have somewhat of an intellect as well. You know, if you're like quick humored.
Well, there's different kind of humor. There's like Beavis and Butthead humor. You know, those are not.
Yeah, no, I like people with good. I like people that can laugh. I like people who could make light of situations.
Yeah.
But I do like smart people. I like smart men. And I like people who know who they are and know that they don't have all the answers. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
no, humbleness, you know, like you have to be humble to the point, because if you think you know all the answers, like that's just arrogance and obviously ignorance because nobody knows everything. But yeah, you got to have some source of groundedness and to be humble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Damn. Okay. I just feel like, you know, you said no a lot. It feels like you would have gone on like a one bad date. You know? No.
I can't. I really can't think of one. I mean, I had one guy take me to a house party, and I don't know why this just popped in my head.
I love it.
I had a guy take me to a house party. He wanted me to go out with him. I went out. This was our date. And it didn't go well because it ended up turning into a fight, and then a gun got pulled out, and
wow,
nobody got shot, but it was like, I was like, bro, I want to go home.
Yeah,
like,
I'm out.
I did not come out here for this. Take me back home.
If this is a taste of life with you, I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah, this is not a good way to like set the tone for us. But I was a teenager.
Yeah, we've all done crazy things. What's the craziest thing you've ever done for love? You know, it's usually in our early years, we're a little bit irrational, or maybe the most romantic thing. I don't know if you're very romantic.
I'm extremely romantic. Honestly, the most romantic. Okay, the dumbest thing I've ever done was put up with someone's shit for too long. I think we can all say that.
We've all done that, and it's the fucking dumbest thing. But we all do it.
I lost my temper over, if like looking back, right? I should have just left the situation, but I stayed too long. I got tied up in the dynamic, and I started responding that way. So the dumbest thing I did was, I don't even want to say it. Well, I guess enough years have gone by. I can't incriminate myself now, but I destroyed property.
Oh, and, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was my third thought. Like, yeah, I destroyed property. It was very bad. It was like multiple felony type of bad, because I even broke into the house.
Dang.
Yeah, I was not, never again, right? But that was the dumbest thing I think I did. And that wasn't for him. It was just that dynamic was so bad, and he was just a shithead.
We all have like an outlet where that emotion goes. I'm sure someone had pushed you to a certain level with whatever it was.
Girl, it was a total click. Like I sat in my car. What happened? I'll tell you a little bit of the story. What happened is I drove up to the house to drop off something, and he wasn't expecting me to come. It was just early in the morning, and you can hear that baby crying.
It's okay. No worries.
I don't know why she's so angry. Yeah, so I pull up to the house. He didn't know I was coming. I just came by early in the morning to drop off some stuff, and I just left it at the door. I wasn't expecting to see another car there who belonged to, another woman. And it was the same woman that had reached out to me, talked shit to me, and I finally was there. I was like, okay, I actually have the ability to physically touch this person right now. So what am I going to do? I'm not going to drive off.
Okay.
Not after all this time. Not driving off. So, I thought about it. I was like, should I go inside and get physical? No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do this instead. So I just, I took a center block and I went to work, and then I broke into the house, got my shit, and I left. And I went home and I went to sleep, and I slept so good. I slept so good. I was like, I needed the outlet, right? Because I had just dealt with so much, and I was like, people keep fucking with me.
Sometimes you just need to Lisa Left Eye Lopez a situation, you just gotta deal with it.
I will never do that again, because now that I'm older, the red flags, I'm out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
The sweetest thing I've ever done was for a guy I was dating, and it was his birthday, and what I did was I made a compilation of videos of people, of lives that he's affected over all the years that he was coached. So I reached out to all these people that I knew loved him, people that he hadn't seen and talked to in years.
Oh, that's adorable.
And they put together a video for him on his birthday, telling him happy birthday, and then what he did for them in their life. And of course, it brought him to tears, and he was like, this is the most meaningful birthday I ever had. So that was probably the most work that I ever put in for a guy's birthday. And it was a memorable moment, and I'm happy for him, because he took that with him. That's a good memory to have. You don't ever know, the way you affect people sometimes.
I like that you balanced your crazy story with a sweet story. You're like, this is the craziest shit.
I'm a passionate woman. Passionate woman, and that goes all the way around.
You and I both agreed earlier that we were alpha females, and I feel like it's just an energy that radiates when you meet someone. You just know it from the first time you meet someone, whether they're an alpha male, an alpha female. And this term is it gets thrown around a lot, but I do feel like alphas are the most passionate, which can be a cinder block through your car, or it could be best love making, or whatever it is, right? So when you get an alpha, you're in for a lot. For sure.
That's true. I like that.
So I like asking the athletes if they have any kind of pre-fight rituals when it comes to sex. Do they abstain? Do they even care? A lot of athletes, 99% of them say they don't fucking care. They just do whatever. And most people are having sex right before the fight. Do you personally, you've never fought, I know, but do you know any fighters? Have you interviewed any fighters that shared any kind of unique rituals with you?
No, actually, it's been the same. Okay. It's been the same response for me. Yeah, they tell me that. And so it's funny you said that, because I had, when I started studying brain and behavioral science, I was actually interested in that. And I was like, what's the science behind that? Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, what is it?
There's this idea, right? It's really more of a myth. It doesn't really make you a better fighter. It depends. I think, okay, wait, let me finish this first before I say this. Sorry, my mind goes really fast when I start talking about this nerdy shit.
When you get excited, you're like, yes, I'm talking about my nerd stuff.
So it's kind of a myth that if men do not ejaculate, that their testosterone is still like, you know, intact,
built
and it
up.
gets stronger and stronger and built up. Yeah. And then, you know, you're an animal and you're frustrated and you fight differently. In reality, testosterone is a hormone that doesn't really stop producing. So it's not like you can overload on hormones. Your body balances your hormones out. So if that was actually true, what would happen if men abstain from sex before a fight is they would probably kill somebody with that time. No, I'm being serious. They would kill somebody because it would be such an overload of hormones that your body wouldn't be able to respond correctly anymore. Your brain would shut off, and then it would just do whatever those hormones were telling it to do. So it's not true. Men can actually still have sex and still produce the same amount of testosterone. Now, I will say when men have sex and women, it produces positive hormones like dopamine, which is motivation and drive, and love hormones like oxytocin, and this shit makes you feel good. So sometimes guys feel better when they do that before their fight versus abstaining. Does that make sense?
Of course. I mean, that's the scientific version of, for me, I always say, hey, do whatever makes you happy. If you think abstaining, is going to help you, I feel like psychologically, you believe that. And I feel like then I know, because science, literally, if you have sex and those good hormones or those good chemicals are released, you're just going to feel happier. And most likely when you're happier, you go into the fight more relaxed. A more relaxed fighter does better. Mark Munoz, my old coach, used to say, the best fighter is a happy fighter. And I don't know if that's true, but it's better to be happy in general. I feel like there are some fighters who believe that if they're angry and pent up, that they go out there and they expel that onto their opponent. And it reminds me of the Mike Tyson story that I always tell on this podcast, because you basically said that if it was true that the testosterone gets built up, that they would probably kill someone, right? Mike Tyson, I don't know if you know this story, he literally said that he used to have... Well, actually, there was a book that was written. It was by his security guard. But Mike Tyson used to have... women in the locker room backstage, and he would have sex with them right before he fought. And then when asked about this, he was like, well, I need to have sex and get that out. Otherwise, I'll go kill that man in the ring. That's literally what he said. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, I understand Mike Tyson's, he felt like that buildup was too much, that he needed to release that. So it's kind of crazy he said that.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting because it also depends on someone's sexual background and how healthy their sex life was too, right? So if, like, let's say if you had an unhealthy interaction or discovery with sex at a young age, right, and you go into your older years without ever working on that or understanding what that is, sometimes, let's say it's a negative thing, right, and it traumatizes you, doing that before a fight probably won't be a good idea. Yeah. Because now something in you psychologically that feels violated and feels like something's taken away from you. If you do it as a terms of a coping mechanism, right? Well, now you're doing it and now you feel a little bit better about yourself, or you feel that control, or so honestly, now that's getting into some like really deep shit, but
I love that
on someone's background.
I love that. Do you think that because you've done so much studying in behavioral sciences that you have a little better insight into the men that you date?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Because when I learned about the brain and I learned how it was wired, I learned the only difference between a male brain and a female brain is the hormones that it produces. In regards to wiring and how in the functions of our brain, it is built the same It's built exactly the same. And it's the same. It's literally the same process. The only difference is the environment you grow up in, your belief systems, right? What you choose, how you choose to live your life. That's the filter in which the way we see the world. But our hormones is the only thing that makes us different. And those tend to overlap, right? So we think men and women are like so far apart. And in reality, we're very, very similar. We just overlap in some areas.
I like what you said about the filters. That's like a very 2022 way of explaining life, right? Because you're right. It's like we all start with the same basic ass camera, you know? And then, you know, based on your background, you know, and like you said, your belief system and whatever it is, it's just these different filters coming through. I love that. It's a very awesome analogy. So I got to ask you a personal question about in the bedroom. Do you have any pet peeves? This is always a fun one because, you know, it could be as small as bad breath or as gnarly as a dude slipping in the back door without asking, which is our favorite, right? Not. Horrible, but it does happen. And
Terrible.
It happened to me once. I was young. I was with my first boyfriend. It was I remember that. That was so funny because I
don't think you ever forget that, you know, because it's just like so alarming. What the hell?
Oh my God, I felt so violated.
What'd you say, Zol?
How is that forgettable?
It's not forgettable. That's what we just said. We're like,
how could you forget that?
I remember it was on September 27, 2000.
You're gonna remember the second on the clock.
What happened with your situation, Adaire?
Oh my gosh, it was my first boyfriend, and we were young, we were teenagers, and we got a hotel room, you know, we were being all grown and shit, and yeah, we were, you know, in the middle of the act, and I was doing a, you know, simple little doggy style, and slipped out, and he just tried to put it back in real fast, and it literally probably didn't even like enter anything. I just felt it go in that direction, and I literally, my body went from one side of the bed to the other. Like, I was like, whoa, no.
Yeah. I look back now, and it's like, as I get older, I'm like, yeah, I you know, I don't want to get old, but I'm like, dude, I am so much happier in my 30s now with my sex life, with my wisdom. I'm like,
oh yeah, God, I didn't even know what I was doing.
Those were awkward years.
Right. Yeah, I would say like a real big pet peeve of mine, and this is weird, and I hear this all the time when I tell people this, but I do not like it when somebody's trying to be romantic with me if I don't have that romance with them. It's a huge pet peeve of mine. Like, do not be up in my face trying to kiss on me and, you know, say shit to me if I'm not there with you. If we don't have that, I don't want you close to me in that way, and I don't want you talking to me that way. Like, I think that's, you know, that's a different level of intimacy, and I'm not willing to go there with you. So it bothers me.
I feel like most men hopefully like understand that there's like a gradual build up to that, and if they don't, then I'm like, are you on the spectrum? Like you know what I mean? Like, not as an insult, but as a like, how do you not read human behavior? You know, like,
well, you're right. A lot of guys don't read. They don't read nonverbal cues that women give, and I will say this kind of the difference with men and women, because women are really good at reading that. That's one of the reasons I like women too, because women read a lot of nonverbal cues. Now, men that are experienced, they can read you. Yeah. Right? They can read you. And I will tell you, most of the guys, pretty much all the guys I've dated have been older than me. All of them.
What is your cutoff?
Girl. I don't know if I have one.
I like that. I like that.
I'm serious. As long as it's functioning and you look good and you take care of yourself and you keep up with me, there's not really a cutoff, because I don't tend to really get along with guys my age. Yeah, I'm 32 years old. You know, I've dated guys that were 18 years older than me, 14 years older than me, within the same, like, you at least got to be like 6 years older than me, at least.
Okay.
And I tend to get along with them more just because of maturity level.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, you want different things in your life. For me, I always say, I'm like, yeah, man, when I was in my 20s, it was like, he's great in bed and he makes me laugh. Done. Now I'm like, oh, dude, if your goals aren't to own your own home, own your, you know what I mean? Like, I'm looking for a man. I have a man, but you know what I mean? Like, my mindset is always like, I want someone to match my work ethic, and I have a very hard work ethic. And before though, I didn't give a fuck about that. And I'm like, that's what I mean. Like, I'm getting older, but at the same time, as I get older, I'm like, I appreciate the wisdom, because back then it's like, yeah, everything was careless and fun. But now I'm like, all right, we only have a small amount of time on this earth. I want to make sure I'm set up for like later in my life, especially since I'm like my last few years of fighting. I'm like, all right, what the fuck am I going to do now? And I'm like, okay, if I do have a partner, I'm like, I need a partner who's also continuously striving to be better and work and hustle as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I know this is a weird transition, but the lightning sex round is a fun segment we have. It's basically to get to know you on a very personal level quickly. It's a rapid fire yes or no segment. Are you ready to play?
Oh, fun. Yeah.
So I also like to say, because my listeners get mad at me, if you do want to elaborate on some of these, I will allow you. But for the most part, it's just yes or no.
Okay. Is it yes or no, as in you've done these things or you're open to these things? Or is it just like, is that just open?
It's just like, you'll see, like dirty talk in bed. Yes or no?
Say that again.
Do you dirty talk in bed?
Yes.
Perfect. Just like that. All right, let's go. Here we go. Lightning sex round. Do you spank or like to be spanking? Spanking? Spanked?
Yeah.
Do you spunk? I might have smoked some weed before this podcast. But do you like to be spunked?
I like to be spunked.
Okay, sorry. Biting.
Biting?
Mm-hmm. Little nibble.
I mean, yeah. It's not like a go-to thing every time, but yeah.
Yeah, you're not like, super into biting, but yeah, like
biting. I'm not going to leave any bite marks, but I'll nibble.
Yeah. There's people who literally like to draw blood. I'm like, if there's pain involved, no. I'm out.
I'm sorry.
This is pleasure time.
Might get violent if you do that.
Yeah. Okay. So then choking.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah. All right. If it's done right.
If it's done right.
Threesomes.
Yes.
Do you watch porn?
Yes, but not
excessively.
Not even. Yeah. Not a lot. Okay. Not a lot. Almost barely.
Yeah. I had like a phase, I think everyone has a phase where you first discover it and you're like, whoa. And then you get to a place where you're like, I feel dirty.
Yeah, sometimes. And then when you get older, you just learn about yourself. Like, I don't need a lot of external stimulation anymore. The older I get, to put myself in that space. So, and I also don't like taking away from any organicness with myself or my partner. So, if I'm with my partner, that actually, whatever we do, even if it's recorded, that is my porn.
I love that, because I don't know what the right word is, but I feel like it, I guess, desensitizes me a little bit, it makes
psychologically it does. It desensitizes you to being able to enjoy arousal. Mm-hmm. And the reason why, there's actually a part of your brain that's responsible for your pleasure, which is in your amygdala. It's where your memory is. And that the reason why it's called amygdala is because it's the size of an almond.
Oh, okay.
That part of your brain is the size of an almond. That's where your memories come from too. So yeah, that part of now there's other parts of your brain that are wired there, but that is a part of your brain that's responsible for pleasure. So yeah, if you're feeding certain types of pleasure to your brain, then it cannot, you tend to have these blockages when you feed it a separate type of way to be pleasured, and it doesn't know how to respond. So that's why people can sometimes have performance issues or have a hard time reaching climax.
Yeah.
That's why.
You guys or girls, take it easy. You're really shooting yourself in the foot there. I didn't,
don't cock block yourself.
You're literally cock blocking yourself. Yeah, all right. How about any fetishes, like a foot fetish?
No, I don't have no foot fetishes.
It is the most popular. You would be surprised.
No, I do have a fetish though, but it's not a foot fetish.
Well, please do share. This is the time.
I don't even know if I want to say it. Oh my God, this is so bad. Guys, don't judge me.
We do not kink shame. Our thing is we do not yuck anybody's yum, okay?
I say that all the time. I love that. I like watching.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, no, that's hot. That's super hot.
Yeah, I like to see things.
Yeah.
So.
I was literally like, I'm like, oh man, what's she gonna say right now? You were just all hesitant. I was thinking
I gotta tie you upside down.
I don't know. She was like, into dwarves or something. I don't know. Which I would be like, hey, I'll hook. I know a guy with dwarfism. I'll hook you up.
No, oh my God, no,
he was on the show.
I enjoyed. Especially somebody I'm with. I enjoy them being pleased, and I enjoy the freedom. I think there's a lot of, even if it's like by myself, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of, sexuality is important. It's not dirty. And I hate how people, try and categorize it like it's something that we don't all do. All of us do this. All of us go through this. And it's a part of us and it's okay. And we should talk about it more openly. This is why this podcast is so great, because you give everybody the ability to do that. So there's a lot of beauty in accepting people where they are. So when someone comes to you and they say, hey, I want to try this, or I'm kind of into this. Is it weird? What do you think? And, instead of shutting them down, making them feel like shit about it, making them feel weird, just accepting it is telling them, I love you. I'm accepting you. You're coming to me, not really, but hypothetically, you're coming to me bare naked,
vulnerable as fuck.
Yeah, and I'm either going to reject you or I'm going to accept you. So when you accept someone, I'm not saying put up with things. I'm just saying, don't tell people no. I have a huge, if you tell me no on something that I'm sharing with you, I am probably more than likely not going to be with you long, right? Because you're not accepting a piece of me, and that tells me that there's not going to be longevity here.
Of course.
Not to say I won't change later, but I think it's the same way with guys. I think a lot of guys hide, things that they really want because their girls don't accept it, and then girls do the same. Girls just hide things that they really want to do because they're scared that their boyfriend's going to judge them or say something weird. So I'm really big on, like you said, not yucking someone's yum.
Yeah.
Let them experience and, just
I love that. I love that. And it's very important. Yeah, guys, girls, everybody, be gentle when your partner comes to you and is open and vulnerable like that. Even if you're not the biggest fan of the thing, just how you react and how you speak to your partner in that moment is so important because it's so hard. I have a sex podcast. I'm getting more comfortable with it. But even in my own personal life, to bear that type of thing to your partner it's a big step for somebody. So be gentle with them. Okay, moving on to the lightning sex round. And we're back. What about bondage? Like ropes, blindfolds, handcuffs?
I'm not opposed to it. I like to kind of know what's going on. I don't want to be blindsided.
I like to kind of know what's going on.
I like to know what's going on, but I'm not opposed to having a couple senses taken away.
Awesome. How about role playing?
I've done it before.
Yeah?
It's interesting. Yeah, it's not something, I wouldn't say it's my go-to, but when it's with the right person, it can be a lot of fun.
I can only dress up. I can't act because as soon as I start pretending to be something, I just giggle and it's not sexy anymore.
It is kind of weird.
Okay. Butt stuff on you or a partner.
Yes.
Sex toys. Do you use sex toys?
Yes.
Ever been to a sex club or a swingers party?
I actually have not. I've been invited. I've said no because I've been too scared. But I think one day I would like to experience it. I just have to see what it's like. I have to go and experience it.
I feel like it's a scary thing to go to something like that as a single woman. But like if you're with your
I'm
partner.
I'm not doing that single. Girl, you're crazy.
No. Wow, your face. This is only an audio podcast, but I wish that it was a video podcast because your face was awesome right now.
Oh my God. No, I'm too scared to get online. I don't want to date. Like, leave me alone right now. But yes, if I was in a relationship, like with somebody or the person that I trust, yes, I'll
That's the time to go. Okay, awesome. Lingerie lover.
Oh my God, that's big, number one.
Really? All right. I like the after, like, ooh, the picture, but like I'm such a tomboy at heart. Such a tomboy. Body hair, yay or nay?
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me too bad. Just groom yourself, take care of yourself.
Manscape.
Be clean.
Manscape is very important. Ever been caught having sex or masturbating?
Yes.
Ooh, that's the last question. Do you want to share a story?
I don't.
Okay. Moving on. Okay, our last two segments are very fun. It's a game of fuck, marry, kill, and then some fan questions.
Yes!
Fuck one, marry one, kill one. Go. I think we're done here.
So for the fuck, marry, kill, those of you listening who don't know what this is, I'm going to give Adaire 3 names, and she's going to tell me out of those 3 names who she would fuck, who she would marry, and who she would kill. And now, I always say it every time, this is just a game. We don't want to kill nobody, okay? All right. Your category is MMA podcast host, since you are in the MMA podcasting scene as well. So you get to choose from Brendan Schwab from Fighter and the Kid, Matt Serra, UFC Unfiltered, and finally, Kenny Florian, Anik and Florian Podcast. Who would you fuck? Who would you marry? And who would you kill? A go.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Okay, so this is funny because I just met Matt. I had lunch with Matt and Dean, and they were so awesome. But I had a great time with them.
Shout out Dean Thomas, he's awesome.
Yeah, wonderful guy. And then Brendan, he gave our podcast a shout out, and we were wanting to do like a joint podcast together. Okay, so we have Kenny.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Brendan and
Matt.
Damn. And it's kill, marry, and fuck, have sex. I keep saying fuck. Oh God, it's gonna have to be process of elimination.
Like a Band-Aid, just like a Band-Aid. Boop.
Okay, I would marry Kenny.
Marry Kenny.
No. I don't even want to say the word. I would have intercourse with Kenny.
Okay.
Intercourse with Kenny. Marry Matt. Kill Brendan.
Gotta go, Brendan. Bye-bye. Okay. All right.
I love you, Brendan. I think you're so funny.
It's just a game. It's all in fun. Awesome. Okay. So
I didn't have a choice.
before we move over to the UFC Fight Pass platform where all of your guys' fan questions will be answered, I want you to tell everyone where they can find you on social media, where they can find the podcast, and anything else that you're promoting right now.
Yes. So any platform that you want to get on, my name, Adaire, Adaire, last name, B as in boy, Yerly. If you type that in, you should be able to find me on any platform. In regards to our podcast, that's Real Eyes Recognize, and we are on all streaming platforms. Our YouTube is popping, so go subscribe. We give away a lot of things on there. and our next season is going to be awesome. We have even bigger guests coming on, so I'm super excited about that.
I love that. What number? What episode are you guys on right now?
Right now, I think we finished off at 12, or will be 12. We're going to do a closer, and then open back up and get it popping.
So is it like every month or bi-weekly?
Right now, we do them every week, but we took a break. We finished out the first season because, Kevin had his fight with Wonder Boy. So we wanted to, honor him during camp. We gave him he actually did film during camp. Sometimes we would drive down to Houston where his camp was, and
nice.
We would film there.
Very cool.
But that last week, we left it alone.
Yeah.
We all went to Florida, supported. We're there.
How fun! How cool!
Giving them a couple weeks to kind of get back on track, and we're supposed to be getting in the studio soon.
Awesome. So. Okay, well, check that out, guys. And I always put all my guest links. Also, I would like to bring it up because I would like to bring any extra monies your way. But do you have any kind of exclusive content site?
Not yet.
No. Okay.
Not yet.
Well, stay tuned, guys.
Just stay tuned, please.
Subscribe to that.
Go to my YouTube channel. I just launched it. Go to my YouTube channel. I'm on YouTube. Just type my name in, and you'll see me on there. I got a lot of stuff that I'm coming out with. I actually just recorded an interesting, fun little segment with a Muay Thai fighter of us cracking open fruit with our elbows.
I did see that. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's it, guys, for episode 126 with Adaire Byerly. It's so fun to get to know people from different industries. I usually talk to the fighters on this podcast, but supermodel. Wow, that was...
Supermodel.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Super cool.
Super cool supermodel.
Super intellectual, And
super rad.
I feel like an asshole. I'm like, super. I can't do a lisp. I feel like, she was... a deeper person than I
to bang on models.
Yeah, I expected, but she said it herself. She also said that all the guys were kind of shallow, and so, but good on her, she's a very intelligent woman, super, super motivated right now, and also,
She's very motivating.
Yeah, she was.
Going like, fuck yeah, I need to
step it up. Yeah.
Be better.
I love it. Guys, UFC Fight Pass is the world's premier combat sports streaming service with over 200 live events, the largest fight library in existence, original shows, and more. Sign up for 1 year and get half off for a limited time at ufcfightpass.com/sign up. And next week, we're talking to... Did I just say cocking to? Should we edit that out?
No, I like that. You're cocking.
Next week we're talking to actually I don't know, and I feel like I'm gonna stop telling you guys. Like, I like giving you a sneak peek, like a teaser, but then people let me down. Yeah, the element of surprise, and so maybe I'm gonna stop this, but I'm not gonna tell you who we're talking to next week, because
Stay tuned to Instagram.
Yeah, just fucking check Instagram, guys. I love you. Thank you so much for tuning in, for all your fan questions. They're over there on the UFC Fight Pass platform. That platform is the shit. Go check it out, please. It really does help the show. And, I think we're coming up on the end of our contract. So help us out, guys. If you like this show, like every week you're excited. You're like, damn, I get to hear this personal, in-depth conversation with these high-level fighters and or experts in their fields. Please do us a favor. Just get the goddamn UFC Fight Pass subscription. It's worth it. And if you're a fight fan, you're not going to just listen to this podcast. You're going to watch some of them documentaries and the old fights and cartoons on there. It's got good stuff, okay? Help us out.
Wild.
The documentaries...
I just got turned on to that, by the way, so that's new to me.
I actually like the UFC Fight Pass because it makes me like more... like our guest right now, like Adaire, she like, you know, I feel like she was so educated. I'm like, I don't even know my sport sometimes, but it's important to also know the history and who paved the way and all that. And UFC Fight Pass has all that.
And
like
you don't
right
have to go
for
to Blockbuster anymore. Pride fights.
That
just
too.
watch all you want.
Damn, you're old, Zoel. You went to
Remember
Blockbuster.
That's how far back I
No,
go.
you're a fan. I'm just a fighter. Like I became a fan after I started fighting, but I know like you and a lot of other people were renting Blockbuster movies and Pride movies and all that.
Getting their ass kicked.
All right, guys, don't forget to help us out with our website, sexviolencewithrebelgirl.com. Help me out on my exclusive content site. Support your girl that way, ashleyrebelgirl.com. And if you guys like the show, just send it to another person. You know, word of mouth is the best. I really appreciate that. Tag me on social media. That's at Sex and Violence with Rebel Girl, and my personal at Ashley MMA. And as always, huge thank you to audio engineer DJ Zoel at DJ Zoel on social media, Tomorrow Kids Studio at Tomorrow Kids Official. And we didn't talk about this in the beginning, but we're in a new studio. We are here in Costa Mesa. Where are we at? We're in Costa Mesa, technically, on the border of Costa Mesa, Santa Ana. And the studio is under construction, but it looks dope, guys. I am super grateful to be here. And yeah, congrats, Zoel.
Thank you.
Zoel Entertainment?
Zoel Media.
Zoel Media. We're business people doing business. I love you guys. I'll talk to you next week with a new guest and more tales of sex and violence. But before I go, remember, be kind, be grateful, and don't take shit from anyone. Love you guys. Bye.